Officers were chasing a 27-year-old man wanted for attempted murder and carjacking. The 2-hour-long high-speed chase weaved throughout LA County, the suspect switching cars at one point.
The truck, it looks like some reason the truck is slowing down now. Doors are open. There they go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's trying to carjack somebody. No.
He was actually jumping into a getaway car. The chase finally ended in Carson, where the suspect, Gustavo Alvarez, was arrested after trying to run from police.
Things are intense on the streets of Los Angeles as law enforcement officers are hot on the trail of Gustavo Alvarez, a 27-year-old male who is currently the main suspect in an ongoing murder investigation. The chase started around noon in the South Los Angeles area, specifically near 99th Street and Avalon Boulevard, where LAPD officers were pursuing a Chevy Avalanche driven by 27-year-old Gustavo Alvarez, a Los Angeles resident. The thing is, he was only going around 30 miles per hour, so you might think the cops could easily catch up to him. But here's the catch. Gustavo is a wanted man for attempted murder, and the police had been suspecting that he was possibly armed, so they weren't taking any chances. Meanwhile, Gustavo faced more challenges in his attempted escape as the front right tire of the truck went flat, potentially from hitting a spike strip, making it difficult for him to drive at high speeds and evade the police. The truck had also sustained visible damage to its front bumper from a previous collision, further hindering Gustavo's chances of getting away. But Gustavo didn't let the missing tire stop him, and he kept trying to drive the truck at high speeds on just the rim. But his luck soon ran out as the wheel started to bend and partially break off, scraping and dragging on the ground as the truck continued on.
But I'm hearing them talk about it right now. They're talking about he's on the arrival side. I'm going to try to get this the best we can. I'm sure Dylan is going to try to get us back over the complexes.
He kept driving his truck around the Westchester and Inglewood areas near LAX.
But of course we have the LAPD helicopter nearby as well, so it's going to make it difficult. I'd just like to get a cleaner shot of where we're at right now, but you can see that pursuit continuing right now. LAPD definitely staying behind it. They're not going to let this thing go. How they're going to bring this to an end, though, that is the big question. Of course, they cannot use that pit maneuver because they said, as you mentioned early on, attempt murder suspect, but possibly armed, and they don't want to have a situation where that vehicle is pointed at them after they do a pit maneuver. Trying to blend into traffic right there. Definitely has no front passenger tire. That was what I saw earlier on. But right now you can see that he's made his way onto Sepulveda Boulevard, and it looks like we're going to be heading northbound on Sepulveda.
But at one point he decided to briefly pull into the airport terminal area. I mean, come on, Gustavo. Did you really think you could just drive into the terminal and disappear into thin air? It's not like you had a plane waiting for you on the tarmac.
Completely. And he's been going like this for quite a while, right?
But luckily, Gustavo wasn't as clueless as we thought. He turned around and drove for a bit, eventually pulling into a bank parking lot. It appeared that he didn't have a solid plan and was just going in circles.
And looks like we are on the correct side of the road, but that truck's still just kind of pushing along down there.
The truck, with its damaged wheel dragging on the ground, approached a line of backed-up traffic at a red light. Suddenly, it collided with an Audi, but Gustavo didn't stop and continued to flee the scene. After a little while, the driver abandoned his truck and hopped into the back seat of another vehicle that seemed to be waiting for him. It was as if he had planned it all along. A woman named Lynette Moreno had helped Gustavo in setting up the second getaway vehicle. Apart from Gustavo, there were 2 other individuals in the Chevy Avalanche who were seen trying to flee the vehicle, but they were quickly apprehended by the LAPD and taken into custody. The LAPD stated that they found a weapon in the back of the Chevy Avalanche. The pursuit intensified when the gray Mazda SUV, driven by 25-year-old Michelle Zamudio, took over the chase with even higher speeds. With Gustavo in the passenger seat, they were desperately trying to evade the authorities. The car weaved in and out of traffic, attempting to outrun the police.
The back seat of this vehicle right here, and they took off like nobody's business. They just and we saw speeds approaching 100 miles an hour at some points on a lot of the major streets out there. Now we're heading southbound Century Boulevard. You got somebody out in the roadway.
As the high-speed chase continued, something shocking happened. Someone inside the car tossed a puppy out of the moving vehicle. The helpless puppy was inside a purse, and it was heartbreaking to witness. However, the LAPD officers reacted quickly and managed to rescue the little dog, who was then taken to the South LA Animal Services for medical attention and care. With the chase still in full swing, Gustavo's luck took a turn for the worse as the tire on the second getaway vehicle went flat. Despite this setback, the driver continued to try and evade the police, driving on a flat tire on the rear driver's side of the vehicle. It seemed like the odds were stacked against Gustavo and his accomplices, and their chances of getting away were growing slimmer by the minute.
About that.
Yeah.
Yes, and I would not be surprised if that was a spike strip, because you had mentioned
or
it
maybe this
earlier
person
on.
hit one of the famous potholes that's cropping up all over LA. maybe for once a pothole worked in law enforcement's advantage.
I was going to say the pothole did some good, huh? But I think it might have been actually a spike strip. I'm not sure how they would have got the rear and not the front, but
As the pursuit continued through residential areas, the suspect in the vehicle narrowly avoided hitting pedestrians in a bank parking lot. Even though the danger to innocent bystanders was evident, the LAPD officers, in more than half a dozen cruisers, maintained the chase with the intention of apprehending the suspect for attempted murder.
So we have you back?
No, I don't.
All right, so we are following this police pursuit that began near LAX Inglewood area. This has been a fairly wild pursuit so far, I have to say, as we wait for Stu to come back to us. I mean, he has a fairly clear shot of what this SUV is doing right now.
The police chase went on for an exhausting 2 hours until the car finally came to a halt. Gustavo and Michelle Zamudio wasted no time and quickly fled the scene on foot in opposite directions, weaving through LA's Harbor Gateway neighborhood. As the chase finally came to a close, Gustavo made a break for it on foot with cops hot on his tail. But soon enough he realized that he had nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. After a short while, he gave himself up in front of a random house where he was surrounded by officers and subsequently taken into custody.
But I still saw one person actually try to run away. I don't know if that person's in custody. We're going to have to check on that. But there were two people inside that car. One of them bailed. Is that a woman?
That's right, and the females, the driver of that vehicle, she got out, kind of walked for a little bit, and I can almost guarantee you they took that guy, that woman into custody almost right away.
Yeah.
We can double check, but right now this person going into custody right here on Kaywood. This is going to be on Kaywood, the 22,900 block of Kaywood. That's where this suspect in custody now after a long run, couple of vehicles. And then that unfortunate crash into that really expensive Audi. That was a beautiful car.
Hopefully
that driver's going to be okay. I'm sure he's not injured, but that car definitely took a nice hit from that avalanche earlier on. But this suspect now in custody after a long...
Meanwhile, the female driver, Michelle Zamudio, was also apprehended by authorities and taken into custody. The 2-hour-long chase had finally come to an end, and the LAPD officers could breathe a sigh of relief. Police have reported that Gustavo Alvarez was being sought for attempted murder and carjacking that occurred on March 26th near the intersection of 101st Street and San Pedro. Furthermore, Moreno was arrested for her role in setting up the second getaway vehicle, and Zamudio was taken into custody for driving it during the pursuit.
2 women were also arrested for their involvement in the pursuit, but it's not clear who the puppy belonged to.
So people should not be rushing here to adopt him?
Not at this time. They can reach out to try to get additional information from the shelter, but at this time, the puppy is on hold, so it's going to be a little bit.